Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back again. It is Wednesday and I'm a little bit sick, so sorry if I wasn't able to live stream the past 2 days. I still have a little bit to swallow here, so it's a little bit difficult to speak for me, but I hope I will be back soon with a full voice, so don't mind if I just have to drink a little bit water. And of course, we will do together the news with pending home sales today and market open in about 4 minutes. So let's hop right into, like always, with our economic calendar here. Today we will have pending home sales in about half an hour, as well as crude oil inventories like every Wednesday. The past 2 days was nothing special. That's just this week. So on Monday there was nothing special in the US. Yesterday we had the CB consumer confidence, which was a little bit higher than expected, but the markets were turning to the downside just at the end of the trading day. It was a little bit more bullish. We will look right into the charts when the markets are open. Today pending home sales. Tomorrow will be more interesting with GDP 1 hour before the market opens. And initial jobless claims like every Thursday. On Friday, core PCE price index. This one will also be important. But yeah, I'm more curious about GDP tomorrow. So the next 2 trading days will be interesting as well. Let's see Fed Watch tool first. Next Federal Reserve meeting is in 35 days. And the current expectation is 58% for no more interest rate hikes, so staying at the 5% level, and 42% are expecting a 25 basis points move. We will also see this here. So the current expectation is staying here until September, and then in September the first drop of 25 basis points back to 4.75% and ending the year at 4.5%. So we see that the expectations had shifted again from low levels. So we had 3.75%, if I'm right, last week. And now you see the shift back to higher interest levels, 4.5% at the end of the year. So no steep steps here to the downside anymore. Just some smaller steps here, just 2 steps, half a percentage points lower at the end of the year is the current expectation. Okay, to the markets now. Let's see, Nasdaq first. Still trying to go higher today. 12,885 points right now. So bullish again after we had some low points yesterday at 12,634 points. So we are still trading sideways. As you can see, the whole week and the last days of last week, we are just trading sideways in a volatile phase here. So with high point of last Wednesday at 13,081 points and the low point yesterday at 12,634 points. So I'm still expecting lower levels here. Maybe we can go back to the previous lows from March 19th, sitting here at 12,525 points. My take profit will be here for the whole position at 12,510 points. I closed some yesterday at 12,700 and I want to take on new shorts here in this area, 12,890, 12,900. Let's see where, as soon as the market is turning to the downside again, I want to take some smaller short positions again. Just maybe 2 or 3 micro Nasdaq future contracts short again. I still have a bigger short position in place here. So what else do we have? Interesting. Euro USD is pulling higher the previous 2 days, but today it's a little bit weaker, almost unchanged, but we already had highs of 108.7 today. So I'm expecting the market to go back to the previous highs here near 110. Let's see how fast this can happen. There's still some way to go here, about 1.5% until we can see the previous highs again. Then let's see, what will we see next? Gold maybe? Where's the gold price? I have an open chart here. This is gold, also moving sideways. We retested to 2000 level last Friday, then dropped back and are trading sideways here, but you can see it's still uptrending. It's going in a triangular now here, so we will probably see soon a breakout, maybe to the upside. I'm expecting the gold price to rise again. It just has some difficulties because of the higher interest rate expectations again, but as soon as we see that the interest rates will not be higher and that we will see lower interest rate levels, then gold should rise again if the inflation is still staying high. But when the recession is there, then probably gold will also drop below the 1900 level again, together with the stock market. So normally the gold prices and the stock market move in the same direction. So therefore, when the stock market is tanking, then gold will probably also see a dip here. Next, crude oil. Crude oil is going higher and we went above the resistance. It's pretty interesting to see that there was almost no resistance here. This was first resistance and we had a hard rejection here, as you can see, but then we went right into the resistance zone. I will just bring it here in the right frame. And on Monday we touched the upper bound of the resistance zone, and yesterday had this interesting doji here, and today we went higher. So it will be interesting to see where the crude oil prices will find the next resistance level here, because we are still not outside of the resistance zone, because here you see the previous lows. We are right trading at the previous low points we had here on 22nd and 23rd February, so just a month ago. Yeah, let's see if we will retest the breakout level once again at $73. My short put is almost closed. It's at 75% in the green, my 50 strike short put. So it was a nice trade. I opened right here on March 15th, just 2 weeks ago. And yeah, it's a nice trade to make 75% in just 2 trading weeks. Now let's see natural gas. Natural gas is one of the positions which is not moving so well for me, so I am here still in a short put position, and you see the market doesn't want to hold the previous low points, so still pulling back. So hopefully we will see a support at the $2 area, which is a more psychological level. But for now, yeah, you see it's still pulling back. Even if we see some bigger movements to the upside, like here we had I think it was a 12%, yeah, about 11% movement on this day, and right on the next day we sell it off again. And here the same thing here, just one movement to the upside, and the next day we sell it off again. So it's pretty weak for natural gas, and it's interesting to see that crude oil is so strong in comparison to natural gas, which is super weak in the previous days and weeks of trading. Let's see sugar prices. Sugar is trying the breakout here, so I will be out of my short position as soon as we close above this resistance area here. So I don't want to stick to a short position when there's a clear uptrend here. Then I'm out and I will cover my losses here and just look for another position. Then let's see orange juice. Where's orange juice? Here. Orange juice was retesting the previous high points. It was pretty interesting because we had big movements to the upside, and yesterday we went back to the previous high points, and then there was a sudden sell-off here, and look how deep we went here. Low point yesterday was 245 cents, and then we went back again, made this nice doji indicating a reversal here again. So today we had an open gap on the opening, therefore the candle is green, but it's not trading higher than the closing of yesterday. So it will be interesting where we close today, but I'm still in the short position here, and this is still looking good for a short. Then what else do we have? Soybean meal. So here I entered a long position. I know that it is against the commitment of trader report, which is showing that the most commercial traders are in open short positions, but if you look here, we already went to 12.7% lower levels from the previous high points, and therefore I took a long position on this nice candle here. And this was a previous low point from December. If I zoom out a little bit, you will see that this was a previous low point here. You can see this was a clear bottom line, and therefore I opened a long position right here. And then you see on Monday and especially on Tuesday, we had nice pushes to the upside. I think there's still some room to go back to the 50% Fibonacci level, which is sitting right here at the previous low point. So I'm aiming at 466 cents for this soybean meal future. I'm in a future long contract and as well in a 400 strike short put, but the 400 strike short put is already at, I think, 70% in the green, so it will be closed soon when it reaches 80%. But for the soybean meal future long, I will close out here at 466 cents and then maybe turn it to a short trade again, because the commercials are still short here in terms of commitment of traders report, and therefore I don't want to be too long in a long position here, and rather turn it to the short side again. Yeah, that's it for my futures positions here. I still have the open position in wheat. I closed it when we reached the 700 level last Friday. This was pretty interesting because we were talking about this on Thursday, and I said I will take a long position here in the future and a risk reversal. So I bought a 700 strike long call and I sold a 585 strike put. This is called risk reversal. And I sold the futures as soon as we reached the 690 level, 690 and I think it was 685 and 690. So I sold early the future, and but I'm still in the risk reversal. So I'm profiting now. You see again a push today of 2.8%. Because of Russia, indicating they don't want to add more days to the Black Sea Treaty, which allows Ukrainian wheat to be exported from the havens of Ukraine, which are occupied by Russia at the moment. And yeah, they want to export their own wheat from Russia, and the European Union and other countries don't want Russia to export their commodities. But yes, there will be more talks about this. But for now, we see the fear is rising, and therefore the prices are rising. And I'm profiting from this with this risk reversal. So that's it for the wheat. And then, yeah, let's move to the market, because stock market is open now. So it's pushing more above 12,900 now. So I can now open some of my shorts. Let's see that I can enter here with an early short position here with this one. Opened it at 12,912 points. Let's see if this is an interesting level for the first two micro Nasdaq shorts, but I'm ready to take on more shorts if we go to higher levels. We talked about this in the previous streams. We will probably see a lot of volatility, and yeah, look at this. This is a crazy 400 points area here, where we are moving almost intraday, these 300 to 400 points. This is just insane, this volatility, because it's not normal for Nasdaq, but we have seen this during the last trading days, and probably we will see it in the next days and weeks, because people don't know which direction the stock market will take. But yeah, I already told you my expectation, and I still believe that we will see lower levels in the beginning or ending of June. Then we should see the first signs of a recession coming, and then the stock market should go to lower levels. But until June, we can still see higher levels above 13,000. So I'm open for everything, and I let the market decide which direction it wants to take here. We are still above the moving average, and it's still uptrending here for Nasdaq. So don't open too many shorts if you're not able to hold it through higher levels, or you have your stop loss levels clearly in place. So yeah, this was an interesting level to take some shorts, but of course we can also see the 13,000 level back again today. No other major news besides pending home sales today. If you have some interesting stocks, just put them down in the live stream chat, and then I can bring the chart up to analyze. I put an interesting option position last Friday in First Citizen Bank. This was really interesting. I will just explain it to you, that you will understand why I like to trade options here. So this is First Citizens with outside of regular trading hours. So here we see the movement on it was Monday, not Friday, it was on Monday. So Monday, March 27th, I took a short call position in First Citizens Bank. They bought the assets of Silicon Valley Bank. So Silicon Valley Bank was the bank that was closed by the FDIC. You all know the news. And then they made a fire sale, and there were only a few bidders, I think, and First Citizens made the highest bid. Therefore, they took over the Silicon Valley Bank assets, and the market is believing that they got it for a good price. Though if I go on a daily time frame, you will see this is really completely crazy what happened here, because in the beginning of March the bank stock here was sold completely off to lows of $505. When the news came on the tickers that they bought the assets of Silicon Valley Bank, look at this, we had highs of $951. So the bank doubled its value just by buying the assets of another bank. Yeah, not doubled, but 64% higher. And if you go from the lows, then it's 89% higher. That's just crazy in a few trading days. And you see how insane the volatility is and the movements are, because no one knows if they bought it really cheap or if it's just too crazy, because they don't know the risks they have bought now. So what we see is a high implied volatility, and this is interesting for an option trader because I can get high premium, and this is what I got. I got high premium for a 1140 strike call, and I got $6 for this call, expiring in 25 days, and I opened it on Monday. So you see how fast the implied volatility was dropping. So the market is expecting a lot less volatility now, and therefore the prices of the options are dropping, and I can profit from this because I sold it for $6, and I can show you the current value now. So let's see this here. This is the option chain for First Citizen Bank. We see the expiration of April 21st expiry here in 23 days, and I sold the 1140 strike here for $6, and the current value is $2.85 was the last trading price. So I made a couple of money just in 2 trading days without the stock moving. This is the interesting thing. You can see that the stock even moved higher. So I opened it when the stock was at, I think it was 870 or 860 US dollar, and now it went higher to 925. So it went against my call strike, but I shorted this call, therefore I'm like in a short position for the stock. But because the implied volatility dropped, I made money because I can buy back this option for a lower price now, and the difference will be my profit. This is the interesting thing, the multi-dimensional trading about options, and this is why I like to trade options. Of course it can be risky because yes, the stock can still double its its value and can go to $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever. There's no limit to the upside like with GameStop. There is a risk, but if you want to have a risk-defined strategy, you can also sell a bear call spread. So you can, for example, sell a 1140 strike call and buy the next higher strike, so 1150. And then you have a defined risk because your max risk is this $10 between these two strikes. $10 times 100, because every option contract contains 100 single options, and every option contains the right to get delivered one stock of First Citizens. Therefore you will have $10 times 100, which is $1,000 as max risk here. But I got $6, so $6 times 100 is $600. I got $600 for this single contract here. So this is the interesting thing. And even if you have to pay now, for example, $3 or $4 for this 1140, you can still make $200 or $300 from the difference just by risking maximum 1,000. And this is an interesting risk-reward ratio here because we are still far away from the $1,140 strike. Yeah, and I can profit from the imploding implied volatility. And this is multidimensional trading. So I have not only the prices here, the price movements, but also time. Time is in my favor because every day passing by, nothing happening, I will make money by 30k. And Vega, because when the implied volatility is dropping, then the option prices will go lower. And yeah, this is perfect because this is one of my favorite scenarios when I short options. I want to see lower implied volatility. Back to the markets. Nasdaq pulling a little bit lower. That's nice, but we are still at 12,900. So we had now a double top here at 12,918 and 12,919. It's looking good. And you see my previous level here. I drew a line. So if we go back to a higher time frame, for example 1 hour, you see this was the high point on Friday. So we just reached the high point of Friday, which was also an interesting point on last Wednesday on the FOMC interest rate decision. This was the breakout level when the decision was made with a 25 basis points move, and we were just rejected from this level now. So let's see, it's still bullish, it's still above VWAP, above the moving averages. Can also be just a pullback, but yeah, it's in the sideways trading range, so you can just trade the sideways trading range if you are acting on lower time frames, for example intraday. Then you can go long at the lows and go short at the highs, or just close your shorts at the highs. But you will have to wait for a clear breakout. So on a daily time frame, we need to have a closing above 13,000 or a closing above the previous low points here, above 12,670, to see that the market wants to break out to one of these directions. And it's not happening right now. And therefore, we will just have to wait for this breakout here. So still waiting, still being patient for the news in about 13 minutes. And there's someone ringing at my door, but I don't want to quit this live stream. Therefore, just staying here at my desk. Okay. Only green candles. Still bullish. We'll have to wait for the first red candle to see more downside reaction and potential here. That's not happening right now. And here's the breakout. Probably more stop losses will be triggered here. And you see we just retested the 9 EMA level. So it's a really strong uptrend here. Just went back to the 9 EMA and then bulls came back. Hi Dylan. Don't mind being late. You can always rewatch my streams. Everything you missed, you can just rewatch it because everything is recorded here. So we are waiting 12 minutes for pending home sales and then see if the market can turn its direction. I'm still in a short position from last week. I closed some at 12,700, but I took some more here, right here, today to micro Nasdaq futures to fill up my shorts again. So if you have an interesting stock, then just let me know. There was an interesting stock, was it Friday or Monday? No, it was Friday here, Deutsche Bank, because where there was a high bid in credit default swaps, and therefore there was a little bit of fear of a default of Deutsche Bank. Therefore the stock dropped here about 10%, or what was it, yeah, 10% on Friday from the highs to the lows. But it could recover until the end of the trading day. And we had big movements on Monday, but you see the big downside was almost closed and it's trading sideways again. And you see here the implied volatility was also going to lower levels, but it's difficult to trade options on German stocks because there's just not enough liquidity at Eurex, at the European exchange, for German stock options. Therefore, I'm focusing on the US markets because there I have the liquidity I want when I trade stock options. Still bullish, showing a nice doji here, but with a green body. So not showing really signs of weakness. 10 minutes until the news. Quite a push compared to yesterday. Yes, yesterday there was a sell-off and we had just had the push here right before the closing. In the last 2 hours before the closing, we just reached the day's low here 2 hours before the closing, and then you see the push above the moving averages, then back to VWAP, was rejected, and then we went above VWAP here with a big push. You can see here this was right into the closing, this big push, and then after hours we went right into the resistance zone here. We still have the levels in place from last week. You can see this was a pre-market support. Then we had a sell-off through this through this support zone, and more sell-off here on market open in the US. And then it acted as a resistance after the market close. So it just went higher during the Asian session, then traded sideways. And when the European markets opened, it traded higher. And now you see US market opened and it trades higher again. So we have to wait, because I'm trading against the trend here in terms of a daily trade. If you are just focusing on day trading, then I would not trade it to the short side, because I'm a swing trader. I can take on the short because it's an interesting level in terms of this sideways trading here, as you can see. Because we have 200, 300 points to the downside as possible chance. But if you risk only 100 or 150 points to the upside, it's still an interesting risk-reward ratio. So it always depends on which time frame you are trading and how much risk you want to take. Still bullish, still pushing. Let's see ES futures here for S&P 500. Where is the ES future? Here. The same thing here. Trying to make new highs. We are above 4,000 points again, 4,045. High point last week was 4,073 points. So just trading about 30 points below the high point. But it's still weaker than Nasdaq, because you can clearly see the lower high points, the lower low points. Of course, it's trading higher here for the last 2 weeks. So the previous low point was March 12th. This is a clear uptrend, of course. But it will be interesting where we close today, because you see here on a daily time frame the parabolic. Parabolic was showing a downtrend, and today we will probably close above. If we do not sell off until the end of the trading day and close below or at the 4,000 level, then the parabolic will change to the downside and indicate an uptrend again. So it will be interesting where we close today, and if the news can bring us another direction here, or even more push to the upside. The price action is bananas. Yeah, sometimes it's really boring, like watching paint dry. And therefore I don't like to stay here in front of my screens and just watch the charts, because there are a lot of these days just nothing really interesting happening without any news. I'm just doing this live stream for you to learn something. Therefore I want to be live right before the news, so that we have some time to talk about my positions and what my thoughts are on my trading, so that you can learn something from it for free. Let's see Tesla again. We still have 6 minutes. So Tesla was retesting previous low points. You see previous low point here was $186, and we had lows yesterday at 185.43 cents. So just went a little bit lower, but closed then above this Fibonacci level. So it's still sideways trading here. Let's see if we can retest the 200 level. Probably not. It's still looking weak here. So we retested the previous high point, but of course the Fibonacci level is now acting as a support, and as well it's still the neckline from the previous head shoulder formation. So this is acting as a support here, but as soon as we break it, there will be more sell-off. So this is the first attempt, second attempt, maybe on the third attempt we will be able to go to lower levels. Let's see, everything that's possible here with Tesla. I have no position here in Tesla right now. Even if I talked about shorting it at the 200 level, this would have been interesting last week. But I had so many interesting other positions in commodities that I didn't take a short on Tesla. And we were talking about Nvidia in the previous week. So Nvidia is also trading higher today. Let's just see it on a nice daily time frame. So look at this candle from yesterday. What a nice candle showing here. A candle with almost nobody and a huge wick on the downside. This is indicating that the bulls don't want to give up. So they want to fight for the levels. And this is a strong bullish candle here. It would have been better if we would have had a green body here for a hammer candle. So this is just a doji, but it's showing that the bears cannot win here. And therefore we had this huge up gap here today. And yeah, it's still strong. It's an AI stock, an artificial intelligence stock, Nvidia, and it's still strong compared to the overall market. And you see, this is a giant uptrend from last October here of about 150% to the upside. And even if you take the lows from December 27th, then it's still 94%, 95%. So we will probably go back into this resistance zone here, 280 as minimum target and 290 is the maximum. So I would look for some weakness here in this area, but do not short it before we reach at least the lower band of this resistance zone here. 3 minutes left for the news. No big changes here in our commodities. Let's just go 1% higher for crude oil, and the wheat prices 2.9% higher. Yeah, it's still nice. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Wix is going back below 20. So you see in the previous week we had levels here at 25.20, but this week we are going below 20 again. So a lot less fear than the previous 2 weeks. You see these big intraday moves because of the fear in the banking sector. But now there's almost no fear anymore in the markets. And maybe it's not enough fear here because it can come back really quick. So I wouldn't short volatility here right now because you can see how quick the volatility can come into the market. Okay, let's see the news again here in our calendar. I wasn't talking about this news here. This is also interesting. I was just laughing about this news. It's German, but yeah, maybe you read it. That Amazon wants to overtake AMC Entertainment. Therefore, the stock rallied yesterday into the closing. I think it's just crazy. Why would Amazon buy AMC? It's just stupid because they are almost bankrupt, so they can buy they can just buy out the interesting assets and they don't have to pay a premium on the shares for the stockholders. Therefore, it would be ridiculous, and I don't think this will happen here. But yeah, of course, maybe it was just rumors. You never know, but it was funny and it made me laugh. Okay, back to the news for today. Here, pending home sales expected to come in at the lower level, minus 2.3%. So of course there's a lot of potential to be higher than expected because the previous number was 8.1% higher, and now they expect a lower level, minus 2.3%. Let's see. Yes, the interest rate is higher, but I don't think that the housing market is this weak. So we will see. In about 5 seconds we will know more. So let's bring up the market again and see the movements on a 1 minute time frame. News are out. Market doesn't make any move. Okay. 0.8% green, so higher than expected. Does this bring on some inflation risk? Some fear of higher interest rate levels? Almost no movement here. Still struggling at the resistance level. Sometimes even the 3-star events are like non-events. But sometimes it takes a couple of minutes until we see the market to decide for a direction. It's not super bullish, but it's also not super bearish here. 0.8% is not a big movement to the upside, but of course when the expectation was minus 2.3%, then it's a lot higher than the expectation. Let's see if there was already a change in expectation of interest rate. 61% for no change and 39% for 25 basis points. So no change here. Almost no change. Yeah, still a lot of time until the next meeting in 35 days, so there will be a lot of shifts and changes here in interest rate expectations. Okay, we will watch for 3 or 4 more minutes and then I will close this live stream. It doesn't seem to be really interesting to watch these charts just moving sideways. You know, I'm in a short position, but I can be wrong every time. Therefore, stick to your own rules, take on your own decisions, make your own plans, and always have a proper risk management. That's important to be profitable in the long run. And always be responsible for your own trading. Never rely on someone else. Never trade on someone else's ideas. Always make your own plans. Like always, no investment advice from me, even if I'm talking about my positions and about my thoughts. Always do your own plans. Still sideways trading, no decision made yet. So for tomorrow, we will have GDP growth. So hopefully growth. The expectation is 2.7%. I'm not expecting a recession right now here in terms of GDP numbers for the 4th quarter of previous year. But it can come in lower, and of course this will be interesting because if it's lower, then there's less fear of higher inflation risk, but also a higher expectation for lower interest rates. So this will be interesting to see tomorrow because the previous number was also 2.7%. And this is an important figure for the Federal Reserve, of course. And you see the previous number for the 4th quarter was 2.9, 2.7%. So it was corrected to the downside. And maybe we'll see the final number now, 2.7 in line, or maybe a little bit lower, 2.6%. We will see. It will be interesting to see tomorrow. And like always, I will try to live stream this for you at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's do it like this. And then I wish you a nice trading day. So hopefully you could get some nice insights from me. If you like my stream, then please give a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so far, please subscribe to my channel. And we will meet us here tomorrow again. Have a nice trading day with some decent profit. We will see us tomorrow. Goodbye.